voice. I don't know where. Oh God, Ramas is. I forgot his real name. This is. Okay. All right. So last time was pretty eventful. You kicked the shit. Well, I wouldn't say kick the shit, but you guys were fine against those half orcs that barged into that bar, caused a ruckus. Um, you made some friends. A small group of adventurers. Yes. Okay. Thank you, David. David. Okay. I don't know. I'm really bad with names. It took me like 3 months to remember all my coworkers' names. And I had a list. I had a list next to my desk. Ah, that would be helpful. I probably have it, but I have like a million pieces of paper, like with like various notes from various games, including the one that my fiance runs that I'm in. So it's like,
Yep. I know.
I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I gotta remember everything. And I'm the note taker in my our game in our and I spilled my tea.
I
Um,
see. Yep.
so
Yeah,
it's yeah,
that makes sense.
yes. I'm not gonna be the note take. Well, I won't be the party loot person for long. I'm gonna transfer that to another person in the party because I don't want to do it anymore. Hopefully he's trustworthy. I don't know yet. We've only been like our characters have only been together for like a couple of days. Um, but anyways, you guys had arrived at the Barrel Rider Tavern. Um, Ramus met up with an old friend, and during the course of your stay, you found out that there was a group of orcs who had gone into the tavern portion of the inn at that point. And everybody was kind of really tense when they came in. Through separate investigations, everybody found out that this band of half orcs, had been asking or demanding protection money, or else property would be damaged by unknown causes, but they kind of knew the known causes. And then Hwinnil decided, hey, let's just fight them now, and stood up and pretty much, you know, stood up to them with the rest of you guys, and you guys engaged in combat. You killed all of them. You gained a dire wolf. I keep on giving you animals. You gained a dire wolf companion by the name of Grim, who was more than happy to accompany you guys to Teetum.
We should mount the circus.
You have like a menagerie of animals now. Yeah, you should just you should get an elephant in your crew.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe a giraffe, maybe a flying squirrel. I mean, Ramus himself has a marmot and a rat, and there's an orange cat with you guys, and yeah, you guys have a lot of animals. And I think one of you guys has a gray bag of tricks, so you could just pull animals out, or was that the other group? I'm forgetting. Somebody has a gray bag of tricks in one of my games, and I am glad you guys take notes because I am not the best note taker. At least I have documented footage. So you guys headed up to Teetum Ironfast, where Earl had told you that he'd be staying at the White Dragon Inn when you guys were ready to check out Zaylor Steelforge's estate, who his employer had told him might be a supplier to slavers of mundane goods or just goods in general. He needs to find a ledger to prove this accusation. Um, so he said he'd be staying at the White Dragon Inn. You headed up to the Red River Brewery in Teetum, where Ixen was, and you had a small meeting. Things were revealed to the entire party, such as a couple of you guys are from the future. Uh, Kasov had a private meeting with Ixen, describing the relic he had in his, well, not employ, but the relic he owns. Well, I don't know if you could say owns, because technically that ownership could be given away at a moment's notice if Ayun wished it, and gave Kasov a couple of choices to think about if he wished to partake in them. There was an agreement met with Ixen that he would be able to craft, well, technically 6 if we have the entire party, but 6 rings of mind shielding in exchange for a job that he wishes you guys to partake while he is crafting the rings, while he is finishing his scrolls of teleportation, and he will probably go find Jacob, that slave with the ward on his neck. And it will take him a while as well to remove the ward, depending on certain circumstances, because he hasn't seen the ward. He's seen pictures, he's had descriptions from Orange Cat, but he hasn't seen it himself. So he will have to evaluate to see how long it will actually take for him to remove it. In the meantime, he had asked you, in exchange for all these wonderful favors he is providing, that he needs somebody to go up the mountain that his brewery is at the base of, to find a special component for his ales called Bloodthorn. This very special plant only grows in certain regions, and prime reason that he built his brewery at this certain location was because this plant grew at the top of this mountain. He did warn you guys that there are yetis, harpies, hippogriffs, and all sorts of nasty things on this mountain. Hence why he does not send his employees, because a dead employee is not really a useful employee. So he has asked you guys, in exchange for all this, for you to go and bring enough Bloodthorn, which he probably said just bring back a bushel for his brews, and that should cover the cost of everything he's doing. Maybe a little extra, but everything he's doing for you guys, as well as other things. So yeah, that's where we left off. You guys would still currently be in Ixen's abode. He's, still sitting at the small conference table in his home, just drinking a little bit, having a little food. When he looks at all of you, from his drink, he says, well, if you want to stay here at the brewery for the time being, you're more than welcome. I have, and you see him start, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. I have 6 spare rooms in my abode, and I do have a stable in the back. I used to have a ranger visitor, and I had that stable constructed around the time of her visit, because having a cougar in your home is usually not the best idea, especially when they start spooking. Especially when it starts spooking the staff. Not a great situation. Mountain lions hiding around corners. I wouldn't recommend it. I had to change many rugs that week. Lots of spillage of ale. Oh, wasted ale. Now that you have you had a little time to digest. You guys probably have been there for maybe an hour or two. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to say to him, or or was there anything you wanted to do while you guys were here?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to try to find winter clothing because I guess there's gonna be snow and stuff on that mountain.
You would be very correct.
That's a good idea.
That is actually a very excellent idea. So winter clothing.
Andrew needs no such things.
All right.
I can't turn into a bear, and just walk around.
Yeah, but you can only do that for 2 hours, right? I assume.
4.
4 hours. All right, 4 hours, so half the journey. So if you're looking for winter clothes, says Ixen, then there is a general store, not too far away from here. You'll want to ask for Flutie. And he describes a general store. If you go down the incline down his brewery, you'll eventually, going down the main road, you'll eventually hit the town square. Flutie's is right in the center of town. She's a lovely lady. She probably has winter clothing, seeing that, we're in Ironfast. Even though you guys are on the very southern tip of Ironfast, and it is summertime, the climate around this area is currently, it's more temperate. It's not too cold, but not hot, really. Very spring-like weather if you guys were to compare it to other seasons. But Flutie's would probably be your best bet, Ixen says. And tell her I said hi. I haven't been down there for a while. Stocked up on barrels, so haven't had to see her for a while since.
All right, I say thank you, and then I start walking over there.
All right.
I'll join you.
All right. So Kasov, Hwinnil, you're going to get winter clothes. Did anybody else want to go with them, or?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
All right. Ramas says, "I'm gonna go see what Earl's up to, and maybe we can, we can do the whole sneaky thing and scout around Steelforge as a boat on the outside, of course, just seeing the lay of the land and maybe figuring out what our next move should be based on the layout of his estate." He walks off towards the center of town, also towards the White Dragon Inn. Florgorin, what did you want to do?
I would like to speak with Ixen.
Privately?
No, I'm extending one hand to him and say, Ixen, I don't like to impose on you like this. Do you need the time that we stay here? Do you need any help in the brewery or help apart from this contract thing you told us?
He looks at you and says, "Well, your help would be very of use, especially since you are an arcane caster yourself. There is something you can do. It might take me a while to, depending on how busy she is, to procure some help. But in the meantime, and he starts, he goes to the back very briefly, and he brings up a stack of books. I won't be able to confirm this yet, but if you could please do a little research for me while I am doing the enchanting on the side. And you see these tomes in front of you are, they are of the kind that describes, infernal beings. Like just huge stack of books on the nine hells and things of that nature. There is very little information on the nature of Rakshasas. If said cat, and he points the way Winnow went, is truly correct. If you could you look through some of these tomes. Anywhere you see any mention of Rakshasas, um, just mark it down for me. If there's anything at all that pops up that you find unusual, just jot it down. Um, and I have a strange feeling, and I can't quite explain it, but I have a strange feeling this is we're not dealing with a regular Rakshasa if this is a plan that had been put into motion for a while. Many Rakshasas, you know, since they can only be slew in the nine hells permanently, they come back. And they come back to continue whatever plans they were doing. They come back for vengeance. They are beings which have the patience to put in motion a plan over many, many, many generations. The more
is there a specific Rakshasa you have in mind?
I
Sound pretty.
There's no specific Rakshasa I have in mind. However, Rakshasas are built like in a very similar to Iron Fist culture and some other cultures. There is a kind of a caste system. You have your merchants, you have your advisors, you have people of importance ranked, you have your skilled laborers. Rakshasas have something very similar, though there are not millions of them. The ones that do eventually reach the top of their caste are not to be trifled with. But we don't have much information on them. And these are just a small collection of books I've recovered over the years that I distinctly remember Rakshasas being mentioned. 1 second.
Killer cats.
Yes, I know.
More cat fights. Now the other
Yep.
one's in the bathroom. This is why we got 3.
Yep.
Ow, ow, tangled. Hold on. What? He just went after her.
In what way? Front or back?
Back. Okay, that was unexpected.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Okay, so many Rakshasas don't. The ones that do become leaders of their own, do become leaders are not to be trifled with. And whatever, I have very little on them, but I'm hoping the contact that if I am able to get her to come here, then she might have more information. But in the meantime, I want to try to figure out what we may be dealing with and their capabilities and so forth. So I ask you to do this, not for you if in your spare time or anything of that nature, while I go start enchanting. Anything you find unusual at all, just let me know. Especially, he kind of closes his eyes for a moment, because I really, really, really would prefer not going to the Nine Hells or summoning an entity who might have knowledge on Rakshasas. I could use my relic to do so, to find out more, but I would be very hesitant at this point. With the nature of the relic being what it is, and he turns to Kasov. That's really all I really need at this moment.
Let's just use the resources we have right now, and if they don't get us what we want them to get us, we always can travel to the Nine Hells looking to Kasov. What the fuck? Well,
The Nine Hells is not a very pleasant place. I've been there twice.
you've been there twice, yes.
Yeah, twice. It's really not a pleasant place. I still have the scars from it. He points to his broken horn. It really, really sucks, to just put it very plainly. You know, eternal torture, that kind of thing. It gets, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, let us not go there anymore.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
Now, the Feywild, I can guarantee you, that's a nicer place. The Astral Plane's pretty nice too. Anyways, I'll get to the enchanting. I'll get to enchanting.
Yeah, thank you. Ixen, do you want your books staying here in your home, or can I take the books with me?
You can take the books with you. That's fine with me.
Okay.
You're more.
Florgorin starts to put them in the satchel.
Okay. I mean, if you don't find this place very quiet, sometimes I do have the staff does make a lot of noise outside because of all the stuff they're doing outside. Then you're more than welcome to relocate to a quieter establishment to do the research. If you do decide to stay here, just let me know if you need anything, or you can let what is his name? You can let Meridino know if you need anything. He is he looks out the window and says, he's that gentleman right over there, and you see this really stocky white-haired dwarf. Just his, even it's temperate, but he's wearing a tank top, and his arms are covered in what looks like tribal tattoos, all the way from his shoulders to his wrists, ending at his wrists. And he's like, that's Meridino. He is, I would say, my unofficial assistant. If you need anything at all, just let him know if I'm not around. I am going to go to my arcane laboratory and start working on those rings of mind shielding.
I'm sorry, one last question, Ixen.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm quite in a questioning mood right now.
Oh,
but,
no. Please ask.
You know the city, you know the people here. Do you know about and looking a bit to Kasov, do you know about a dwarf, perhaps rumored to hoarding slaves here?
We have quite a few number of dwarves. Are you looking for somebody who has like I'm assuming you're looking for somebody a little higher up, more than a common like laborer, or maybe even like a skilled laborer. We have a couple of them here. There are, let's see, there is a distant relative of the Belgrim clan, but they're very distant, like second, third cousin. I can't quite remember his name. There is a member of the Steelforge clan. His estate is, he tries to remember, probably on the west side of town. I don't interact with him much. And there's not too many of them, so I can only really name 3. And there is a, what's that guy's name? Fire Anvil here. Do any of those names ring a bell?
Actually, since I'm a dwarf, all of these names ring a little bell in my head. But I think Steelforge is the one I'm looking for.
Oh, Zalor then. Zalor. Yeah, his estate's on the west side of town. I don't interact with him much. He doesn't really. He's not. He only comes here. It's his seasonal home is to the west. I believe he makes his home mostly in in Nortec most of the time. Slaves. He's a very private man. As far as I know, I don't know too much about him. He decided to, buy that abandoned estate some odd years ago. Rumors of him being connected to slavers? It's possible. But then again, I don't know the man at all. I barely, I've only probably said hi to him, once or twice in the time he's been here. He does bring in, his estate is very busy, though. There are a lot of shipments that he receives. Sometimes small caravans will pass through town heading towards his estate. Other than that, I don't have too much information on him. I know he's from quite a large clan, but other than that, I don't know too much about his character or his person. If he is indeed keeping slaves, that could easily put him in a prison for the rest of his life, because slavery here is very, 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 very looked down upon, especially since there is an agreement. Even Robur agreed with us with this, and it was one of the reasons why Robur has a treaty with the rest of us, and we agreed to this treaty, was because if any escaped slaves reach the eastern continent, they are declared free, technically.
I remember, yes.
Yes. So, but yeah, I can't. Since I don't know him very well, I can't comment on his nature or his credibility or anything of that nature.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, but thank you nonetheless. If that's everything we hear from you about him, perhaps you just have to check out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ixen. I'm sorry to abort you from.
If you do pursue this, and if you do find that he is a dwarf of ill contempt, we have a sheriff, so to speak, in this town. This town is, has a small very small battalion of guard, being at the border. But you're gonna, if you find anything on him that could lead to an arrest, there's a sheriff in town not too far away from the general store I had told your friends about. Yeah, it would be kind of strange to go without any proof too, because his clan is respected.
Of course.
Yes.
I know.
So.
I don't know what Kasov has to say to this, but I probably will talk to him about this and perhaps then re-talk with this dwarf. From one dwarf to another,
Yes.
Bonding.
I agree with that. Yep.
He'll probably be more likely to speak with, one of your stature Florgorin and a cleric as well. Maybe even just to keep face if what you suspect about him may be true. But of course, that's all speculation.
Yes.
But yeah, of your team, you two would probably be the most welcome at his estate. Dwarves are very respectable of, others, of course, as you know.
As we know from personal reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Earendil, Hwinnil, you guys were headed towards the general store. Kasov, were you going to go with them, or did you want to stick around? I thought you...
Yeah, I wanted to go too.
Okay. All right. So,
I'll catch up.
Florgorin, tell me where you decide to do your research, unless you want to do something else in the meantime. And
Well, not,
yes.
I think. Yeah, let's start this right now.
Okay.
I think Florgorin has asked Kasov if that's okay to bring him a set of warm clothes too. So
Yes.
Florgorin will start to research in one of the rooms, whatever is good for researching such stuff.
Okay. He has multiple studies, so also this is something I want to tell you. Not that for yes.
How many books did he actually give me?
He gave you
ask?
about 7.
7. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And these are thick tomes of books. If you.
This book's weighing me down.
I don't know. Okay, I think that's how you spell it. Okay. So you can spend some time doing that. Just mark that in your notes as well. Earendil, Hwinnil, and Kasov, you guys make your way down the main path towards the center of town. It's getting a little late, and it's getting a little later in the afternoon. There are a lot of people have been clocking out. You see dwarves. Okay. Then I have a couple things I'm going to PM you about.
Check.
So you guys are heading down. There are many dwarves who have clocked out of work already, many with mine picks, a couple gentlemen with, a tool belt with carpentry tools. But the stores are still open, and you make your way down towards the market square, which has this huge in the center of town, where you'd probably find a statue of maybe a founder or a nice water fountain. There is a giant black statue of a anvil, and over the anvil there is a statue carved up of the same rock of a built dwarven individual just hammering away, or in the mid motion of hammering at this anvil. If you guys want to make religion checks, you guys are more than welcome to do so. Okay, Kasov, I'm gonna give you advantage because you're a dwarf.
Yay.
This is Moradin, or this is one of the many depictions of Moradin, the dwarven patron of craftsmanship, of a deity that is worshipped in most of Ironfast. He is, so to speak, the father of the dwarves, the ones who gave them or taught them the ability to craft such intricate metal work, of gem work. This is the man this is the god that taught the dwarven race all of this. And lo and behold, if you walk a little bit closer, you couldn't see it as you were walking in, but there is an actual plaque on the statue itself, mentioning who this deity is, as well as the generous donator, a Byron axe cutter, to the city, or to the small town of Teetum. But across the way, not too far away from the statue itself, there is a small store with, just a few tools and a couple simple, like a sack of grain on it, and it is just simply labeled general store. I guess they weren't very creative in naming their shop. But also in the town square, there's also multiple smaller shops, a couple specialty blacksmith and carpentry shops, and of that nature. But you head towards Fluties, the general store, and when you get inside, you are hit with this strong scent of of some light herbs, mixed with some, probably there's a little, there is a smoky smell coming from the fireplace that is on the side of the store, and there are rows and rows and rows of just general mundane goods. And at the front of this store is a female dwarf, with black hair, um, a little bit of scruff on the chin. Kasov, you know that some female dwarves choose to grow facial hair. Some just choose to shave it off to be more like their non-dwarven brethren if they live in local, non-dwarven cities. But it's a little more common to see some facial hair, especially they're braided into intricate ways up here. But you go in, and this dwarven woman looks like she's about maybe in middle age for a dwarf. Just wearing a brown apron with a very simple dress. And, as you walk in, there is a little ting coming from the bell. And she says, "Ah, new faces. I don't get that too often. Welcome to Fluties. How can I help you today?"
Thank you. We are looking for some winter clothing. We're going up in the mountain.
Ah, winter clothing. Okay, let's see. So how many sets are you looking for? Are you looking for like boots, heavy cloaks? I mean, do you just, or like heavy, heavy jackets, mittens? We have all those kinds. I think we might actually have some. We usually cater mostly to the dwarven clients. She mentions the Kasov. However, we do have some sets that would probably fit the rest of you. Are you what kind of quality are you looking here? I mean, we can go from plain and mundane to a little more stylish. We have some white fur trim cloaks, if you want to be a little more presentable. But if that's not what you need, then we can also go with just plain and simple. Let me bring out some samples. And she, uh, walks off into the back room. There is about 5 minutes of what you hear like rummaging in the back. At some point, there is a heavy wooden thud of probably a box being taken off a shelf and slammed onto the wooden floor. And about 5 minutes later, after all of this, this flutie comes out with a huge stack of cloaks, boots, mittens, just piled high. Almost like this pile is nearly a little taller than she is, but she walks in with somebody with very surprising grace, and she just puts them all on the counter, and she's like, "So, this is our non-dwarven selection. For the dwarven selection, she quickly rushes back, and she has a handful of additional clothing and puts that on the table. If you have any wee folk, like gnomes or halflings, we could probably accommodate to them as well. I would have to dig further back to get their set. It's probably buried beneath other sets of clothing, but yeah. Were you just looking for just plain and simple, or did you want to go a little more extravagant?
I take a look through the pile of clothing and I say like, no, I can just take something simple. But because of the person I am. I just pick out things that fits me. So like they're gonna seem stylish, but they're not of expensive material.
Okay.
So maybe like colors and stuff like that.
Okay, a lot of the winter cloaks are fur-lined to keep very warm. Um, the set you eventually pick out, Hwinnil, is a set that looks like it has been made from some type of some type of perhaps a mix of, I would say, it's very hard to work with, but you're very surprised when you find a set of, you think it came from an owl bear. The back of an owl bear, the head of the owl bear is like feathered and all of that, but it's like very bear-like. And at first you think it comes from a bear, but you see that the pattern just on the surface of the fur-lined cloaks and coats you find are very speckled, that of resembling the pattern of an owl bear or an owl, but not feathered. They're definitely fur lined. It's a nice, also is a nice kind of brown speckled coloration of the fabric as well, just for pretty good camouflage actually, if you're going trekking into the woods in winter. Or underbrush on a mountain. Earendil, what about you?
I pull out my lion pelt thing.
Okay.
I put it on the counter,
Okay.
and I say hello.
Ah, hello there.
So I got this beautiful lion pelt here.
Okay, let
And
me
I
let me
was-
let me take
I
a
was
look.
wondering if you can make me something out of it. 'Cause-
I'm not I am not a tanner. However,
Oh, you're
nope.
just a retailer.
I'm not a tailor. I merely sell goods. But if you would like, you could trade us in, and I could give you something similar. That is a good question. I've never really thought about it.
It's important.
It's very important. You're right. Let me take a quick look at the Wood Elf class, because you guys get like half elf, dragonborn, human, halfling, elf. High elf, wood elf, you guys. You are Fleetfoot. But that only extends to your. So I'm not gonna say you can walk like the Tolkien elves from Lord of the Rings, but you have less difficulty traveling through like very heavy snow. That I will say much. So snowshoes, you probably don't need them, unless you're walking through like 5 feet of snow, which could be the case if you're going near the top. Then you might need snowshoes. But for the most part, if it's like just, like maybe a foot of snow, I don't think you'd need it. I think you'd be a little nimble enough, being a fleet-footed wood elf, that most of the time you wouldn't need snowshoes.
So I'm basically not gonna choose them, and then we're gonna get situations where I can't run.
Yeah, we
That's
don't know
gonna be
about
good.
that. All right.
But I don't buy them now.
Okay. But Earendil, yes. She says, if you want to trade this in, I, would be happy to trade it in for something very similar.
Such as?
Well, and she takes a minute and she starts going through the pile, and she pulls out a do you have any color preference? It looks like I have a forest
Black.
green. Black. Okay, black. Okay, we could work with that. And you see there are
Or
mittens.
white.
Or white.
Because it's snow.
Yes.
Camouflage, I guess.
Okay. You see her start pulling away mittens and cloaks and tossing them behind her until she gets to 2 sets of winter wear. Surprisingly, each is in a set of their own of gloves, cloaks, and a jacket. And she said, "Well, we have this one." She pulls out um, a black cloak that is lined with brown fur, and along with leather gloves, which are also fur lined as well. And we have this set. This one looks very similar to Hwinnil's set. Kind of a mixture of browns that would be good in camouflaging in shrubbery, so to speak, on like the lower areas of a mountain. Um, uh, Both appear to be made out of some type of bear-like entity. Not owlbear in this case, but some giant bear-like entity. Maybe even out from a dire bear. Um, and so we have these. This one's black. This one is a mixture of browns.
Mm. I give her a wink and I say, "Can I get both?"
Of course, of course. If you want to buy both sets, that would that would be fine. I wouldn't say no to you buying both sets, especially if you're trading in this very nice pelt, which
I'm
I.
getting ripped off, guys.
Ah, boy, you're just gonna have a cloak collection at this point. Um, and you, Sir Dwarf, was there anything in particular you were looking for? I mean, you yourself would have many choices because most of the clothing we have here would be of your size.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm also buying an extra set for a friend as well.
Okay.
Another dwarven comrade. He's about my size as well.
Okay, excellent. Was there any particular color or pattern you were looking for?
Basically, mostly function over style, so mostly just something fairly ordinary because we're traveling to the wilderness, perhaps.
Okay,
So,
I think I got something for you then.
excellent.
She starts rummaging through the cloaks again. Ah, I got a lot of folding to do after this. And she puts out two sets of very. They're not plain. They have some embroidery on the edges, but they may look like to be more of a gray blackish color, similar to a timber wolf um, uh, uh, coloration. It's like I have these two um, wolf furred line cloaks, as well as gloves um, and coats. If you guys need it, they look like they're about your size, and they would function very well in this kind of weather. Um,
Very good. Yeah, I pick it up and feel it. I say this is good material.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. Well, our we have a local tanner in town, and he does very good work with things especially with wolves. I don't know why wolves. Um, but let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 sets of winter clothes plus a trade in from the good sir over here for that pelt. We are looking at about where is that? Clothing, clothes, treasures, so sci-fi, with the trade-in. We are looking for at 9 gold pieces for the lot.
Very good.
Including the trade-in. The trade-in knocks it down about a gold, so since it's an unrefined hide. So instead of 10, 9 gold pieces.
Okay. I'll put up I'll put up 4 gold pieces, like 2 for mine and 2 for Florgorin.
Mm-hmm. She's looking expectantly at the elf and the half elf. Is that price reasonable? Silence. Are you guys muted?
Sorry?
She says it's 9 gold for the lot. Kasov put up 4 gold for his set and 4 Gurins. That would leave 5 gold. So it
That
would.
takes 5 gold.
Okay. Okay. So 5 gold. Okay. Do you need these? Do you need a bag, or are you okay with this? Do you have your own carrying? I have satchels. I mean, I have large burlap sacks here if you need to carry these back or something.
And as she's speaking, I'm like putting it down in my side bag, and that's a bag of holding. So it
Okay.
just disappears.
Nice.
Oh wow, I need to buy one of those. She looks over the counter. Okay, well it was nice doing business with y'all. If you need any other supplies, and she points towards the other mundane goods, then please feel free to come back.
Very well. And I say goodbye in Dwarvish.
All right. She
Goodbye.
bows. All right, have a nice day. Hope to see you again. And she just, as you leave, she has this wide smile on her face. For
Good job, well done.
Florgorin, while you are studying in one of the many study rooms that Ixen has, there is a very large, as if there was a it sounds like there is a large tear and then like a poof, very similar to what you had experienced in the teleportation center back in Valido. There are a few muffled voices outside of your room. One of them sounds like Ixen. The other sounds like female. And they're talking in very, well, lowish voices currently.
I would finish the sentence I was about to read, then putting a piece of paper in the book to not losing the side I'm on, and then walking to the door, listening silently.
Okay. Do you speak Celestial?
That's a good question. Let me look it up. But I don't think so.
Okay. So you put your ear up to the door and listen, and there is a beautiful melodious voice that drifts through the door, and in return, something that sounds very similar to Ixen responding in kind, though voice not as pleasing to the ear, in the language they are speaking. You can't quite, since you don't speak the language, you can't quite make out what's being discussed.
Yeah, after some moments, I gather that I don't understand a thing. But yeah, then I will return to my books and continue my research.
Okay. Eventually, the voices do fade. There are some footsteps walking away from your room, and there is a door that is closed. Earendil, Hwinnil, and Kasov, after your wonderful winter shopping, what would you like to do?
I think I would just head back to the manor and maybe like spend time with the animals until people are ready to move.
Okay. All right. You can go do that. What about you, Earendil?
I'd like to go and eat something.
Okay.
Eat something nice.
Okay. There is Earl, Ramas' friend, had mentioned that he would be staying at the White Dragon Inn, which is one of the one of the few establishments that sells food here. There are a couple small family-owned restaurants. Nothing too extravagant, but if you want a good home-cooked meal,
Yeah.
if you're like a lot, it seems like roll a perception check for me. Okay. It's not too hard to spot from here. So the you find a small restaurant nearby called Josephine's.
Ooh.
Yes, it looks like a small family establishment. It is a plain wooden house with white curtains, with a small trail of dwarves going inside. Looks like these dwarves are skilled laborers finishing a day's work and maybe going.
Those are the best places. Yes.
Yeah, trying, getting some food and drink after a long, hard day. Okay. So you enter the establishment. It's very cozy. Very kind of like a intimate family kind of deal. There are plain wooden tables with like checkered red and white tablecloths. There are just plain glasses. There are a bunch of dwarves just chatting with each other at some of the tables. There's a small bar, nothing too big like the tavern you just recently visited, but it's nice. And there is a small sign in common and in Dwarven which says, "Please seat yourself." Um,
Okay. So I do speak Dwarvish,
okay.
and I would like to not shout, say slightly higher than normal.
Okay.
Who wants a drink in Dwarvish?
Okay. And all the dwarves look at you a little strangely at first, and make a persuasion check. Because they don't know you. You're half elf, so they're not very not receptive, I would say, but they're not used. Oh, holy shit! Okay, so you yell, "Who wants a drink?" And immediately, like, everybody turns to you a little wide-eyed, and they're like, "Huzzah!" And everybody and there is this dwarven woman, probably in adolescent years of her life, and she's like, okay, she starts say, this will be on your tab. She kind
I whisper, no, they don't need to know that,
Okay. She looks kind of strangely at you. Okay. All right, whatever. And another waitress starts filling out glasses of somebody who yelled huzzah. The woman that you're talking to, she looks like she's maybe in Dwarven, like the equivalent of maybe 16, 17 years of age, even though she's probably twice that age, being the lengthy Dwarven lifespan. And she's like, and she has a tight blonde bun. She's wearing very simple clothing, and she's like, do you need any help?
I say, I would like a fine steak, and I would like a fine beer, and I would like you to tell me about your life while I drink and have a feast. I'm all ears. You can tell me about all the shit that's troubling you, and I will pretend to care for a minute, and then I'll leave.
She kind
Wow.
of, since you rolled like a critical on your persuasion, she kind of just blinks for a minute, and she's like, I could probably take like a 10-minute break. And she looks over to the other individual who's pouring drinks right now, and she kind of looks gives him a little wave, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. And it's like, okay, let me put your order to the kitchen, and I guess I'll join you for a meal. I mean, I'm quite hungry myself. I'll be right back. And she motions over a seat by one of the windows that is set for two, but has been cleaned and already set for everybody. So she's like, if you wait here, I'll be right back. I have to go tell my dad your order. And she kind of walks away, still kind of stunned
Mhm.
by the whole experience. Like, what the hell just happened?
I was smooth, you know. It's like...
This time you were smooth. This time. So she goes.
I'm improving.
If your dice say you're improving, then yes, you're improving. So you start walking. You walk towards the table. You have a seat. The other dwarven individual who is serving drinks comes over, pours you a glass of water, gives you a very large stein of ale. The pints here are a little bigger than you're used to. Like you've drunken at human establishments before, and pints are pints, but this is like you're not sure whether it's the alcohol tolerance of this stocky race, but this is more like a pint and a half. Maybe even
Oh, just the way I love it.
yeah, maybe a little more. And in there is a kind of a pale ale sort of deal. Very a little bitter, very hoppy, I would say, very hoppy. And a few moments later, since steak doesn't take very long to cook, the woman with the blonde bun in her hair walks over with a very large cut of I would say filet mignon, but this is bigger than what a tiny thing of filet mignon would be like. Probably came
Okay.
from some kind of creature besides a cow.
Okay.
And she sets in front of you. There's a side of mashed potatoes and broccoli, and she sits there with her own meal, which is a simple meal of chopped vegetables. Looks like some chicken in there and some rice. And she sits down with her own very large stein of ale, and she says, "Well, my name is Cassidy. It's nice to meet you."
Earendil, you can call me Earendil.
Earendil, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah,
So
nice to meet you too.
what brings you to Teetum? I mean, we don't get many half elves here.
I came here with my party to attend to some, adventuring business.
Oh, quite exciting. We do get.
Yeah, it's a dangerous life, you know.
Oh, I see. Well, wow. Yeah, we do get the occasional adventure here, but usually they're just passing through because this is a small town. We don't really have too much to offer. Though, Master Ixen does have quite a few strange, and she points towards where the brewery was at. Gets quite a few strange visitors from time to time.
Do you usually have trouble?
Oh no, not at all. They're actually
Okay.
most of the visitors are actually quite courteous. We don't get many half elves in the restaurant as well. This is my father owns the establishment. I just merely work here. My brother, and she points to the young man serving everybody drinks. That's my brother over there. Sid, and yeah, we help run this place. My dad's the cook, so I hope you like your steak. But yeah,
I taste the steak. I ate it because I ate dwarvish food, and I just say, "Oh my god, this is lovely."
It's actually a rather nice steak. It is done medium. It is a medium rare. Just simple cracked pepper. Hint of olive oil, little sea salt on top. And the sides are pretty good, not too bad either. It's garlic mashed potatoes, and the broccoli seems to be steamed and tossed in some kind of very light, not overbearing oil with pine nuts. It's a nice meal. And she's like, well, yeah, we don't have too much trouble with anybody around here. This is a town that a lot of people just pass through on their way to Nortec. But you are an adventurer, and she starts talking to you and asking little bits about your life. Oh jeez. Okay. All right. What's your idea? What do you want to
And
do?
I said, does life get boring around here?
I would say it's a little, a little mundane. I'm just a waitress, but it's yeah, I wouldn't say boring, but it's routine. Why? And she's
I
kind
said,
of looking at you with this strange look, like there's a
So I'm doing-
strange man talking to me who just bought or just pretended to buy everybody drinks, who invited me to sit at his table and convinced me to take my break to eat with him. What's going on?
So I'm doing this like Wall Street thing, I'm eating and I'm like talking while I'm eating and pointing with the knife, being very rude and trying to be very stylish, but I'm just being rude and I don't even know that I'm being rude. Am
Okay.
I being okay?
All right, I
And
can
so I'm like,
imagine
so
that.
I see something in you, I see some potential in you, I don't know. There's something about you that just triggers my flickers,
She's still looking at you with a very stunned expression on her face. Okay. And what do you mean you see something in me? Like I'm not sure what you mean. I'm pretty plain, she says, and she's kind of just looking, and she kind of looks over to her brother. Her brother's like, looking back, like, what the hell's going on? Like, they're not quite sure what is going on.
So I say, well, we usually just eat rations and stuff, unless we have the fortunate opportunity to stop by beautiful towns like such as this one.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you ever considered joining a group and cooking for them, like on a regular basis.
First of all, my dad made the steak. I didn't cook it.
I'm sure you've learned something over the years.
I guess I'm a decent cook.
Don't you want to see the world?
You make another persuasion check. Okay.
I assure you, they're all as good looking as I am.
She kind of just tilts her head, like, it does get boring in the town, but outside I hear there are giants and harpies and yetis and all sorts of nasty things out there. I mean, she looks tempted. She looks tempted.
So I take out my dagger slowly and I say, "This is Vertigo and Lothlorien. They will keep you safe."
Okay, while she's thinking about that, Hwinnil.
No, I did it slowly. Please don't kill me.
She's very stunned. She's like, what what are you propositioning me? Are you? Well, no, you're hanging out with the animals.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the restaurant in a minute. The restaurant where nobody knows what's going on. And you're hanging out with Griff, Wildbeak, and Grim at this point. And is
Yeah.
there anything, or an Orange Cat probably? Is there anything you are talking to them or doing with them in particular?
I think I try to teach them, like, if I do some like sounds that they should come and some sounds that they should hide and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So a bit of combat training, I guess.
Okay. Are you using any other abilities, or are you just trying to like straight up help help them learn how to do or to respond to certain commands?
I will use talk to animals,
Okay.
and then otherwise only animal handling.
Okay. So with that, I will give you a advantage on animal handling since you're using speak with animals as well in conjunction with this. What commands or what kind of hand gestures do you want to teach them?
I want to teach them to run and hide and like they should run back to where we came from, so to say. And I want them to also to come and help something is dangerous, or if they should scout around and like only come back and warn if they find something. Those 3 commands.
All right. So seeing that these beings have an intelligence of what do they do? I will allow and it takes them a little well, even with the animal commands, it does take them a little while to pick it up. I will ask you. Where is the hippogriff page? I would like you to let's see, roll your animal handling. With advantage. They have an int of 2. Okay, so those guys have an int of 2, and the direwolf has an int of. I don't want giant sharks. I want a direwolf, or a giant wolf would work. Giant scorpion, giant shark, giant weasel, giant weasel.
I think they're on the dire wolf actually.
Yeah, you're right. They have intelligence of okay. All right. So you can teach them with that role if you spent a couple hours with them. You know, kind of the reward deal. If you have some treats for them as well, you can teach them to run. You can teach them to hide. Scouts is a little more difficult. It is more of an advanced command that you might have to take a few days to teach them with.
Okay.
You can teach them to come. It's hard to translate help to them. Grim actually picks it up pretty well, come help, since he is very used to being in a pack mentality. So you can teach Grim run, hide, and come help.
Okay.
The hippogriffs are a little harder since they're used to working in pairs. However, they're not used to working in a pack. Very similar to in Grimm's situation. So you can teach Wildbeak and Griff run and hide. Scouts is a little more difficult.
Okay.
They can go and look. What kind of scouting are you trying to have them do? Like, do you want them to like send them to an area, they just fly over and come back to you to tell you what they saw? Or is it kind of more the fly around, see something suspicious, track it for a while and report back? I mean, what kind of scouting are you trying to convey with these guys?
I think it's more for the hippogriffs than the direwolves. If the direwolf is hard to learn this, then I will just not do it. But for the hippogriffs, I want to teach them like I would teach falcons to do this same thing.
Okay.
That they can like follow the thing up like above, so you can just follow them. If they find something, they start circling it, and then you can call them back, so to say. So with scout, I would probably say that they should try to find what we're looking for, and normally if I can somehow specify because of talk, if I use speak animals at the same time, I should be able to maybe describe what they should look after.
All right. I'm also
But otherwise
seeing.
just
Yeah, I'm
Good
also
to have.
seeing how easy it is for them to learn. Oh wow. All right. So okay, wow. That's all right. So Wildbeak learns Scout.
Okay.
Griff has a hard time, like without somebody guiding him on his back. He has a very hard time comprehending Scout, even though Wildbeak is trying to help out a little bit, but it's very difficult for him to grasp it. But Wildbeak does eventually can learn Scout.
Okay. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, Griff is a little slow on the uptake, unfortunately. He didn't roll very well. But Wildbeak rolled a natural 20. So you spend the next couple of hours teaching your animals that. Kasov, where were you again? I'm sorry if I asked and I forgot.
I just I'm back at Ixen's place as well. Just or where are the animals? The animals are near the inn, right?
Ixen does have a stable, but where were the animals before? Are you just taking them outside of the city just to teach?
I think I start teaching them like outside Ixen's, and then I move them outside when we start to do the more advanced things.
All right, so
Okay.
Hwinnil's probably outside the city.
Okay.
Kasov, if you
I'll
want to head
probably
back
just
to Ixen's.
yeah, I'll just be around Ixen's, just looking over some of my notes about the area
Okay.
that I have.
All right. So when you enter the establishment, this is probably took you like half an hour to do the shopping, half an hour to 45 minutes. Talking to the woman, going down to the square itself, checking out the statue. You come back, and when you get there, in one of the sitting rooms, which has been left open, you see Ixen and his pot-bellied, broken-horn, glorious self, sitting across from a woman. She is decorated. She has multiple piercings in her ears, lined the edge of her ears. Her skin is a violet color. There are white markings on her face that travel from the center of her head down her eyes. Her eyes are white. Her eyes are completely white. You do not see any pupils at all. She wears this kind of strange silvery headdress. She's currently speaking. Do you speak Celestial?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
They're speaking in a language you can't understand, but they're in an animate conversation. Roll me a religion check, or Arcana, but probably religion. Her hands are covered in silver rings. Okay, you have no idea who this person is or what she may be.
Okay.
But she does look very similar to another blue-skinned individual. Well, actually, you wouldn't know that person. Never mind. So she's in a very animated conversation currently with Ixen, and as you walk past Ixen, looks out from the door. It's like, Kasov, come here for a second. He's speaking common at this point.
Okay, I come in.
All right. So as you come in, the woman stands up very fluidly from her seat, and Ixen says, "This is my good friend Asha." And Asha bows towards your direction and says, this is Kasov." Ixen says, "One of the people I mentioned to you on this current endeavor." And she's like, and the woman says, "It is very nice to meet you, Master Kasov. I heard you've had quite the journey here so far."
Yes, Asha, I have had quite a journey.
And I expect your journey will take you into more strange places. Ixen, dear, and Ixen says, "Yes, Asha. Where is Could I think I need to make a few calls." And she's like, "Oh, of course, of course. It's upstairs, immediately to your right. It's in there. And she's like, thank you very much. I'll be right back. Excuse me. And you see her gracefully walk out of the door and up the stairs. And Ixen's like, I didn't think I would get her down here this fast. This was the individual I mentioned that's going to be helping me with my enchantments. And she will probably, since she is a more powerful wizard than I, she will probably go down to Lek herself, maybe this evening, and retrieve the individual that you currently have at her homestead. Asha is, I, and he's like, I'm very surprised she came here so quickly. Asha is one of the leaders of Thundrum, he says. She is the wizard, one of the three wizard leaders from there. The reason I asked Asha to come here was she has very personal experiences with Rakshasa.
Excellent.
I don't know if you know the nature of devas, but she, in her past life, used to be one.
Okay.
When
I'm not sure if I've heard of them, but yeah.
when a deva becomes corrupted, they can turn into one of the infernal beings. However, it's very rare for the vice versa to happen. She was a Rakshasa who was cleansed herself of corruption. It's very difficult to do, but the fact that she was able to achieve such a feat is quite astounding. And since she was part of the society, even though her news might be a little needs to be updated. It's been probably thousands of years in her lifetimes since she's been one, but I suppose if there was like a particular high ranking one who was in power for a long time, she might know of him or her. Do Rakshasas have hers? And you see Ixen like start stroking and shit. And I've only seen male depictions, but Asha probably would know. Though I don't know where she's male or female, or if they even have sexes. And then he starts going into this very, very long, like, pondering about the nature of Rakshasa society and gender. And it's like, what? You're standing there, it's like, what?
Well, Kasov likes this kind of stuff. He's a researcher at heart.
we should also bring Florgorin down. He's I think he's in one of my studies. Ixen closes his eyes. He is currently in the one that is that way, 3 doors to the left. If you could go grab him, that would be wonderful.
Certainly.
Okay. Earendil, so you're sitting there with this poor dwarven woman who's flustered and very, looks very tempted by the offer to come, for some reason, to come cook for an adventuring party. Didn't roll very well on her insight. And she's like, so hypothetically, if I was interested in taking the job, or a job with a group of adventurers, she says, how much would I be paid?
I have absolutely no idea.
Our first hireling. Nice.
That was my intention, Kasov. But now my negotiation skills are going to completely fail me, as always. I'll give my best though. Okay, so back to your Earendil. Okay. I mean, you'd be paid in. That's an agreement we'd have to come to with the rest of the party. I mean, if I'm assuming if you want to come, if you'd be interested in possibly coming with us, you'd be willing to meet the party first before making a decision.
Of course. But I have a steady job here. She motions to the restaurant. I mean, I'm not putting my life in danger. I'm not going against, I will.
How much are you being paid right now? Are you even being paid, or is it like a family job thing?
I get a small allowance. Currently, I am being paid the equivalent of the equivalent of about, geez, what's waitress payment? um, you guys are
One
making,
copper.
2 silver a day.
yeah,
1
2
copper, by
silver
the
a
way.
day, I think.
yeah, it's probably 2 silver a day. She's like, I get paid probably 1 gold a week. I mean, 2 silver days, so like 1.5 gold a week. I mean, it's um, it's not much.
No.
Would you be willing to pay me that much? About gold a week, gold and a half.
Well, here's the thing, and I keep doing my Wall Street thing. I'm not really the money guy. I'm the searching for talent guy. And I see something in you, as I mentioned before, but I'm just not sure if the rest of my companions would be willing to partake with the gold.
Oh,
Uh,
so I would be
even
I would be I would be cooking for you for the experience of seeing the
That's
world.
not what I said. I said that if I think talking money, it's like the final step of the agreement.
Oh, I see.
I'm not saying you won't be paid handsomely. I'm just saying I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to start our business relation by lying to you. So I really don't know
like you just
what
lied to the
to.
customers in the well, I wouldn't say lie, but I would say
I never said I was buying drinks. I just asked them if they wanted drinks.
uh,
Your learning process starts now. You need to be able to survive. That's survival techniques. I didn't tell them I was going to buy them a drink. I asked them if they wanted a drink.
and I would have to talk to my dad. I mean,
Oh, I could do with your dad. That's okay. Don't worry.
You want to talk to my dad about this? Oh boy.
Yeah, sure. Convince him that I'm a tough man, and I like try to mimic a dwarf.
She kind of like okay, I guess we could talk to him. He's probably a little busy right now cooking for the restaurant. But she's like, my break's over soon, so let me really think about this. Like, really, maybe take the night to think about this. I mean, how long are you going to be in town for?
We'll be staying for a while. Don't worry. You take your time. It's an important decision. I get it.
Yeah,
Just think about the vast rivers of this beautiful unseen world, and think about the many forests and dungeons and beautiful things you'll be seeing
Dungeons, she
along the way.
says? I'll be going into
Dungeons. No,
dungeons?
no, we're going into. When I say dungeons, what I really mean is a palace. With a beautiful court and princesses,
No, 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 no,
and
no,
that's
no, no, no,
that's
no, no,
what
no.
I
You said
call it.
dungeons. You said dungeons. I heard dungeons. That's different from a palace.
But I mean, I'm sorry. I I was thinking dungeon because I usually hunt in dungeons. That doesn't mean that you'll be cooking in such places.
I'm at this point. She's like, I'm okay. I'll think about it.
Yeah,
I'll talk to my brother,
you go do that.
and I gotta go back to my job. And she kind of just slips off the chair, and she kind of looks back at you a little warily, and goes back into the kitchen. Um.
I continue happily having my meal
Okay.
and my drink.
All right.
Who wants another? No, I'm joking.
Okay. I gotta go use the bathroom. Be right back.
Okay, that cracked me up a bit.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, you know, when I say dungeon, I mean a palace.
Of course.
That really cracked me.
I think
That was great.
a deception check on that.
I think the Stava thingy is a double agent.
Yeah.
She only became a Deva to spy on the Devas, to virtually getting back to being a Rakshasa and even more powerful than before.
Yes. A little suspicious there.
Oh yeah.
You guys
We
and
have
your
to-
crazy conspiracies.
We have definitely to keep an eye on her.
Okay.
Yes.
So Kasov, you go and get Florgorin. He is, deep in some research. There's a a pad next to notebook next to him, and there you. What do you want to knock on the door? Do you want? I mean, what's up?
Yep. I go to the door that Ixen told me and knock on the door.
All right, there is a light rapping on the door, Florgorin.
Finish the sentence again. Try to mindfully. I write something down depending on the sentence I read, and then yes, come in place.
Okay, I enter. And I say in Dwarvish, "Hello, Florgorin. Hope I'm not disturbing your study, but by the way, what are you looking at? What are you reading about?"
Quite interesting material, actually. The books Ixen gave me all have a light infernal touch to it. These are information books about the Nine Hells. I read some sort of book about Rakshasas in general. It's quite an interesting read, but most parts pretty disturbing.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're reading up on this stuff, because this is going to be pretty important for what we're doing. So that's very good. But as you know, as you may or may not know, my background is as a researcher myself. So I'm very happy to hear that you're researching. It's a good thing, knowledge. So, but yes.
I mean,
yes, go ahead.
My dearest brother, I have 7 books lying on here. If you want to read 1 or 2, I will not frown about it.
Awesome. Yes, great minds can put our minds together and maybe tackle this as a team. Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You would be surprised how much we could entangle our brains.
Excellent. I came in here for a reason. I wanted to let you know that Ixen wanted to speak with us together when you get a chance.
Yeah.
If you're available now, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Closing the book. Kasov, tell me one thing. What are you thinking about the thing with the dwarf? I mean, with the Steelforge clan dwarf.
Yes, good question. Well, as I may have mentioned before, if whether they be dwarf, elf, orc, or human, if they deal in slaves and they're against the law, then I say they need to face justice.
Should we at least try to speak to him about this? Trying to change his way if he actually really labors slaves for his works?
You do bring up a good possibility. If one could redeem himself, I'm sure a dwarf could.
Remember, who else than a cleric of our race could, giving him the opportunity to redeem himself. I mean,
Yes.
I'm a mere truth speaker. I'm a mere seer. So perhaps my advice isn't what he wants to hear. Okay, but thank you for your opinion. Let us go to Ixen then.
Yes, yes, and yes, if we do speak to that steel forged dwarf, I do have a couple of ways in my cleric skills that could actually help us find out whether or not he really does change his ways. And I mentioned a couple things such as detect evil and good and zone of truth.
I see.
Just letting you know that I do have some ways that the great Ayun has bestowed upon me.
Good to know. Thank you for your opinion, brother.
Yes.
Let's go then.
Let's go. So we head back to Ixen.
All right. At this point, Asha is back in her seat. She has a tiny teacup and saucer in her hand. Ixen has a large, surprisingly not too large, but a small wine glass with a red. And you guys come in, and Ixen's like, come in. He introduces Asha to you, Florgorin. This is Asha. She is one of the wizard leaders of the Thundrum Mage Order. I asked her specifically since she kind of owes me a favor, and Asha just she smiles and is like, "I owed you quite a few favors, dear Ixen." And Ixen's like, "Yeah, I know." But she is going to help us with this warding problem. Um, she has experience in herself. Why not I let you speak, Asha? And Asha's like, "Very well. As you may or may not know, I am a deva. Um, and it is very rare for our kind. We live many lifetimes, many hundreds of lifetimes. When we die, we retain our memories in the next, some of our memories in the next life. In one of my past lives, I was one of these creatures that you are currently researching about. I don't have much, unfortunately. A lot of my life as that entity comes in flashes, comes in bits and pieces. I cannot quite recall everything I've ever done in that lifetime, but whatever help I could be to your cause in this matter, I will try my best to assist. I have studied some aspects about Rakshasa society, a little bit, not as much as I would like, since information on that is quite scarce, and the things we do know are merely the surface of what could be researched. Um, I understand if this may be a little strange and a little unsettling, given what I used to be in my past life, and I will, I do not make any motions to hide what I was. In fact, my knowledge on infernal beings is part of the reason I was elected many years ago to the status of Archwizard in Thundrum. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I am at your service. And Ixen mentioned that he needs some magic items made as well. So if we combine efforts, we should be able to get those ready faster than one wizard could do alone. Especially one of my, well, and Ixen pipes up, especially one of your stature and status, ma'am. We all know how you are, if not one of the most powerful beings on the Eastern continent. Um, So, don't try to play that off, sweetie. And Asha's like, kind of arcs her eyebrow at, being called sweetie and just kind of shakes her head. It's like, of course, Master Ixen. You used to be that way as well, though. And Ixen sighs and leans back in his chair. It's like, yeah, I used to. And you swear, Kasov, you hear under his breath, fucking book. um, but anyways, is there anything you two would like to know, or any of you, says Asha, in the meantime, about the nature of the Rakshasa? I know you have quite a few books here already. I've brought some more from the library. I checked them out. They should be back in like a couple weeks, so the librarian gets quite testy. I've had quite a few run-ins with her. She's probably the only person that scares me over there. And and Ixen's like, yeah, yeah, Matilda can be really, 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 really rough on people who are late with library books. Um, um, do you? I'm sorry. This must be a lot of information to drop on all of you. But do you have any questions in the meet? Just about me or about the natures of these creatures? And roll an insight check, both of you.
Okay.
Down.
Okay. Florgorin, it's yeah, Florgorin, it's easy. It's as she says, creatures. There is a hint of disdain towards mentioning, like, this whole time when she's talking about Rakshasas and infernal being, there is this just look of disdain all across her face, um, of slight disgust when she even mentions the words. You know this. Kasov, she's just explaining as is. Um, do you have any questions for me? I know me just being here, dropping in like this, of course at Ixen's behest, I probably don't seem like a very, you know, you don't know me, so you don't have any reason to trust me. But if you have any questions for me, please feel free.
The good thing is, milady, as you already mentioned, you're an acquaintance of Master Ixen, and Master Ixen didn't lose any of his glamour over the years, if I may say so.
Well, let me just say, me and Ixen, we've known each other for quite some time, and Ixen just says, quite some time. You saved my ass literally several times over the course of my life. And Asha kind of smiles and says, I was only doing what was necessary to progress, well, plans, and to when the world needs saving. And Ixen's like, yeah, we all know that deal. But yes, it's strange. Ixen hasn't shown me the ward that he wants me to help dispel yet. He believes I should see it in its entirety before I start making speculations. I was actually going to pop down, so to speak, to Lady Lex maybe later this evening. I already sent her a message that I may be down there soon to pick up this prisoner that you have, and an item that one of your former companions had, this amulet of power, or once contained power. I was going to pop down and bring those back up to Ixen, and and you're looking at Ixen. He seems a little bit, rolling your insight checks in general. He looks a little tired. And Ixen says, well, I'm not what I used to be. My bedtime these days is like 10 o'clock. He kind of chuckles to himself. Yes, Ixen, you're an old man. We get it. and you're a young woman. And Ixen's like, and Asha's like, well, it's the nature of my species. But I was going to pop down and go grab those prisoners, the prisoner and the amulet. Was there any message that you wanted me to convey to your comrades down there while I travel down there?
I'm looking over to Kasov.
No, not specifically.
All right. I may ask. I may wait for your other companions to return. They might want to bring some messages down as well. But
Yes, good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Well,
but in the meantime, she takes out a stack of 5 additional books from what seems to be a miniature bag of holding. Like it's half as small as the ones you guys have, and it fits very comfortably at her side. And she takes out these 5 thick tomes and puts them on the table. These are books specifically geared towards the study of infernal beings, especially those of Rakshasa, as well. I think this will help all of us. I've read a couple of them back to back, but there are 2 that just arrived at the library probably some months ago that were in the catalogs that I think will be very interesting to see if there's additional information that we've missed. I put ketchup in the bedroom. But yes. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to, if you research as well, but not in the traditional way. I'm going to, and with your permission, Master Ixen, I am going to start meditating on my past lives, and I'm going to see if I can get any glimpses that would help us and that I could relay to you about what I used to be. If you hear any screaming, she says, please do not be alarmed. Sometimes trying to relay my past lives, one of my past lives can be very stressful, especially concerning what I used to be. I'm not proud of what I used to be. I hate what I used to be. But well, that's the nature of my race and my species. So I will be back. I'm going to use one of the empty, quiet rooms, if that's okay, Ixen. And Ixen says, yeah, of course, of course. The one in, and she points to one in the back. That one should be free to use. Do you need any incense, any candles? And she says, I have my own things to help with my meditation. But I will call if I need any help. And Ixen says, of course, Lady Asha. With that, she puts the books on the table. She gathers, she looks in her small bag and she's making sure she has all her things. I will be probably indisposed of until later this evening. And Ixen's like, I'm aware of that. Right. It was nice meeting both of you. Hopefully I will come back later on with some information that may be able to help us. In the meantime, please partake in these books. Please don't try to spill any on them. I really, really don't want to. Matilda is a fierce creature in herself. I just hope that you never have to talk to her about late fees.
yes.
Sometimes I think I fear her more than my past self. She smiles and she starts walking to the back, to one of the rooms that Ixen had pointed out. And Ixen,
Milady.
She nods.
Florgorin starts talking as he walks away. Do you fear your past memories?
I do not fear them. Many.
You should. Memories are a powerful thing, you know?
They-
Like, your past life is a powerful thing.
It
and
is.
even if you're what you're now, you were something different back then. So it's probably not, I mean, it's a possibility. Just think about it. That you could be corrupted again. So please be careful.
Devas are the nature of my race. Devas are always very concerned about this. I've met very few Devas in my lifetime, but the ones I have met, we are always very wary of what we once was. My case is very rare because most Devas stay pure. The fact that I used to be a Rakshasa is very disconcerting. And I always endeavor to make sure that I stay my uncorrupted self through many, 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 many rituals and many reflections on my past self. Do I fear what I used to be? I fear what it may do to other people if I become what I used to be. But I currently do not really fear the person I used to be because it is all an experience to me at this point. I do not remember as you would remember a day before. I would not remember my past memory like that. I would the recollections of my memories come in flashes. Very similar to if you were a child, maybe 3 or 4. You would remember bits and pieces of your very early childhood. Similar to the manner I would remember bits and pieces of my past lives. So yeah. So yes, but Master Florgorin, I will be uh, endeavor to keep aware and to try not to let myself fall to corruption again. But that was thousands of years ago.
I dare say that this world is still needing you, so please just be careful.
Of course. With one little flourish, she starts her kind of metallic gown just drags across the floor as she walks off to one of the study rooms. You see Ixen kind of just propped on one chair, kind of looking after her, sighing to himself. Those adventures we had together. Anyways, alright. I said she's going to take care of the teleportation later if she is of sound, if she's not too tired. I will go start collecting. Well, I've been collecting, but I will start gathering all the materials I need for your rings of mind shielding. Have fun with the research. And he kind of pats the news pile of books, kind of waves at you guys, and starts
Excellent.
walking towards the cellar of the of his establishment.
Yes.
Earendil, you are currently sitting at the restaurant by yourself. Instead of
Sorry, did we agree on time schedule to leave for the mountain, or am I just allowed to chill indefinitely on the?
I don't know, it's up to you guys.
Then I guess we didn't. So go on. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we said anything.
Okay. Sid, the brother of Cassidy, comes up with a small piece of parchment and says, would you like to pay your bill now, please? Or are you not finished, or would you like to order dessert or another drink?
Do you have any desserts?
We have a dwarven how would you guys say it? It's like a bread pudding almost, with a little sugared snow, made with milk and some a frozen technique if you'd like. We also have pie, all sorts of pie.
Ooh, I love pie.
We have, and he starts like pecan, blueberry, apple, and a chocolate pie.
And I say, what's your sister's favorite?
My sister's favorite would be the apple.
Oh, I'll take that then.
Okay.
Take that for now.
Would you like a scoop of sugared ice on it? It's pretty much their version of ice cream. In this place, or would you like it on the side, or would you just like the pie itself?
Just a pie's fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll be back with that. He kind of looks weirdly at you, it's like sister's favorite pie.
Okay.
And he walks off, and moments later he comes back with a nice portion of apple pie with a small fork. Um,
Does it
um,
look good?
yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. He kind of looks and he's like, "Did you? I know you were. I know you were talking to Cassidy earlier. She looked a little flustered. What were you? If you don't mind me asking, sir, uh, what was the nature of your discussion?"
Well, let's just say that I find your sister quite an individual, and I would like to extend her skills into a more refined state.
Oh, oh, okay. I thought you were trying to ask her out on a date.
Uh, between you and me, initially I was. Your sister is quite beautiful, as you may have already noticed. But then, business talks first, I say this in a very respectful and concerning way.
Um, okay. He kind of looks a little weirded out. Okay. I'm going back now. Would you like another drink, or are you good?
I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye. He's like, he's kind of blinking in bewilderment, like, what the hell just happened? um. Hwinnil, how long do you want to? Well, a couple. I said it would take a couple hours to train the animals.
Yeah.
After which, if was there anything else that you would like to do while you're outside in the wilderness?
No, probably not. I guess they will hunt for food, but I will make home after I'm done with that.
Okay, that's cool. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Oh jeez. Okay.
And I'm all out of good ideas.
And Winning holds all the party money.
Yeah. Maybe you should split a little bit of that up. Okay.
Maybe.
in case of situations like the one we're about to go into. Okay, so after a few hours, you guys start you start heading back. Kasov, Florgorin, you're sitting down, hunkering down, researching. Ixen's in his lab. Asha is in her meditation, and that will take a couple hours. Earendil, you are sitting in the restaurant. Your pie is quite good. It's a cinnamon mixture of sugar and whatnot in the apple. But how long do you want to hang out around here? Earendil?
Oh, so can you repeat that? Sorry, didn't
How
get
long
that.
do you want to stay at the restaurant?
So my plan right now is to wait it out until someone misses me and tries to find me.
Meanwhile, me and Florgorin are getting lost in 12 books of research.
And,
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
Hwinnil,
Might take a while.
My man is on Hwinnil.
an hour passes. Another hour passes, and you are at a empty table at this point. Trying to look busy. Taking out bits of parchment, reading them. Trying to pass the time.
Mhm.
It comes to about the third hour when Sid comes back to your table and says, Sir, we have to close soon. Would you like to pay for your bill?
I say, where I come from, we have tabs, and we can leave them open.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I didn't know this wasn't a common practice around here.
Roll a deception check.
Yeah.
Just roll
Please.
straight deception.
Please.
While you're doing that,
Oh,
I'll just
okay.
ask.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, I
Yeah,
rolled that
also-
well. He's
Also
like,
ask.
well, Cassidy said you were going to stay here for a while. If you could, let me know where you're staying, and if you plan on coming back, I can probably open a tab for you. I mean, we do that with some of the locals, but since I wasn't sure about you since we've never seen you before. But we could probably open a tab. Sis mentioned you were staying here for a while, right?
Yes, I am staying here. For a while.
Where are you staying, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm staying at the I don't remember the name in.
Well, there's the. Are you staying at an inn? There's one inn in town.
And you're in it.
It's probably not even an inn then. I'm staying at. Well, to be honest, I was. I have memory issues. And,
Go on.
and no, I could take you there. So because I don't remember the name, and then you would check out the name.
Just can you point to me where you're staying? And you're by a window. I mean, do you see the place that you're staying at? I could tell you what that place is. I have to, I have dishes to wash. I have like silverware to polish. I have glasses to clean. I mean, I have to help Dad close up. So.
Okay, so there's some place where I can like write or draw.
Yeah. He takes out a small napkin. Here. We can draw.
I tried to draw him the way to the place I'm staying at. Because
Okay.
I am a wanderer and I can remember stuff.
Okay. You point to. You start drawing. He's like, oh, that's the brewery. You're staying at Master. How did you not know his name?
Because I'm not a very
Right. Memory issues. Okay. Well, Master Ixen has a tab here. Would you like a separate tab, or would you like to open it under his name?
Don't tempt me. I would like a side tab, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
All
choose
right.
your next words carefully.
All right, sure. I could go do that, and I will please visit again, and maybe.
I will.
Okay.
If I'm alive, I'll drop by tomorrow.
What? You're alive?
I'll drop by tomorrow. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you, sir. He's like, what the hell just happened? He rolled pretty low on his insight actually.
Yes.
I can't roll well on insight. Okay. So you got away scot-free with having no money at the restaurant. I was about to have you wash dishes if you rolled like really well. Okay. So you finish whatever you're doing, and Cassidy and Sid and older looking dwarf, who you can make assumptions that is Sid and Cassidy's father, start cleaning up the bar area, taking a large bin and putting discarded dishes and silverware and glasses in to take to the back to start washing. Sid comes out with a mop and he starts washing the floors around the bar and around the establishment.
Well, I bid my farewells, and I.
Roll perception for me.
Okay, that.
It's not that hard to see. Cassidy's father is giving you like the evil eye as you're walking out.
Okay, I walk up to Cassidy
Okay.
and I say, "Have a good night of resting, and
You
consider
too.
my proposition, please.
Okay.
I'll drop by tomorrow again."
Of course, Sarah. Earendil. I'll think about it. She kind of smiles awkwardly as you walk out. Kind of still in disbelief about the entire day that she just had. Well, the later part of the day that she just had. So you eventually start walking back to the brewery as Hwinnil too. Um, and Kasov and Florgorin, you are knee deep into research. 3 hours have passed at this moment of just lots of reading, lots of note taking. Um, when you get to the brewery, it is Meridino, the older dwarf that lets you into the establishment. And he said, and Earendil soon after is like, ah, lass, nice to see you. Ixen is
Nice
current.
here.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but well, I know you're staying here. He leads you into the foyer. Master Ixen is currently indisposed in the Arcane laboratory, and your friends are upstairs in the study room doing some work, and we have another visitor here actually. A lady, what's her name? Oh, Lady Asha from the Thorn Room is currently in one of the study rooms as well. So is there anything you need? Would you like me to take you up to your room? Did you want to see any of your companions? Do you need help with stabling your animals? I know you have quite a few with you.
No, I'm fine with just stabling them myself. But can you tell me where my companions are?
Ah, of course. Master Kasov and Master Florgorin, they are in the study hall down that way, to the left. Master Ixen is currently downstairs in the arcane laboratory. I haven't seen your ranger friend. He hasn't been. I haven't seen him for a while. The
That's troublesome. I should get on that right away. I just jump up on my hippogriff and then I say, "Can you stable the other two?" And then
Yeah.
I ride up.
Yes, of course. I didn't see your rogue friend or tiefling friend either. I think your tiefling friend is actually in one of the guest rooms, and your rogue friend is still in town. Maybe I haven't seen him since he left. Bye. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
so stabling animals, great. So he goes down the stairs, and then in front of him is a very large dire wolf and a hippogriff, and he just kind of stands there for a minute. Them
I'm such a
looking,
nice person.
them looking very warily at him looking very warily at them, and he's like, nice doggy. Would you like to come to the stables with me? Um, and that's the last thing you saw as you rode off. This awkward stare between your animal friends and this very slightly confused dwarf not knowing what the hell he's about to do right now.
Hope they will be fine.
That will be fine. Maybe. So you ride on your hippogriff, and you do see Earendil eventually coming up the road towards Ixen's brewery.
Okay, and he doesn't look distressed, I guess.
Earendil, do you look distressed?
No,
He does not look distressed.
I
Alright.
look quite happy actually.
Then I fly back and yeah, maybe try to save the disaster that's gonna happen with this disabling process.
Okay. So as Meridino, says, he's not putting his hands. Well, he's putting his hand up like a little bit up, but kind of like letting, the Grim smell his hands. Like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not hurt you. And then like. He's keeping his hand there, and then Grim's looking very warily at the hand. Just being let off the leash, so to speak, from the half orcs. He kind of snuffs and makes a very, very slow motion, like a warning, like there's a warning growl, and Meredito takes his hand off. I'm like, okay, you don't like to be touched. That's fine. Can you follow me? He starts walking a little, and he's like, please come, please, please, um. Oh wow. Grim starts following Meridino, but Griff looks very hesitant.
Okay.
And this is what you see while you're up there.
All right. I descend then,
Okay.
and I said, "Oh, I found them.
Ah,
Let me help you." Oh, hey, Grim. I go far to Grim and I like cuddle with him a bit, like with his like.
just
brush
scruffing his
ear.
okay.
Yeah.
And Meridino's like, yeah, I thought you guys had horses, or mules, or even oxen. I've,
No,
I mean, I've stabled a cougar once, but this isn't a cougar. Or
no, the
no.
dire wolf.
Yeah, it's definitely a dire wolf. If you follow me this way, please, with your animal friends. We have a very nice stable area. The last ranger that came to visit Ixen was very, very insistent that they have nice stables, and it took a little while to get done. An arrow pointed at one's head, but it was done. It was done, and he motions to the stables. It's a very nice stable area, large, spacious. Easily, if they wanted to, it could accommodate like 2 war horses per stable if they needed to. A nice bedding of clean hay, water troughs. Pretty nice. It's actually the stable is built underneath the like a rock jutting of a like there's like even a additional natural rock roof made where the stable is
Okay.
built. So it's pretty nice, pretty warm-ish for being outside. And Meridino opens each of the stable doors and allows you to lead Grim, Wildbeak, and Griff to their appropriate places.
Yeah.
And Meridino says, "Will they be needing any special food during this time, or are they all set, or do they need like a night run or something of that nature?"
I will probably do the night run if they need, but you might bring some meat. I think Grim wants some more, and maybe Griff as well.
Okay, of course. We'll be. I can do that. Um, Meridino kind of snaps his fingers, and 2 younger dwarven men come up to him, and he says, "Well, let's get them some food and stuff." And the other guy's like, "Okay, aye. All right. I consider it done, my lady. But yes, if you would like to go back to the house, I can lead you there immediately." And they start you guys start walking, and he's like, yeah. If you need me at all, just call my name. I'm always around. And if you need, anything at all, like food or anything, the kitchen's down that way. And he points out like the major areas of the house. The sitting rooms and the meditation rooms he doesn't describe in detail because there are numerous amounts of them.
All right.
Have a good evening, miss. And he starts walking starts walking towards the kitchen.
I said, you too. And then I start moving up to where Kasov and Florgorin was.
Okay. You approach a oaken door, simple in appearance. You could give it a knock if you wish.
Yeah, I do that.
Okay, so there is a soft knock on the door, Kasov.
Okay, I say, yes, come in.
I enter. If I hear it.
Yeah, of course. It's not a thick wooden door, so.
Right. Good afternoon.
Hello, Hwinnil. Good to see you. Florgorin and I are just doing some light reading, as you can see.
Is it anything special you're reading about?
Yes, we're reading about infernal beings and specifically Rakshasas, because that seems to be the quest at the moment.
Have you found anything useful?
Have I? Good question.
During this time, what knowledge you and Forgrin have gleaned about Rakshasas? And let me actually get the Rakshasa page right here. Okay. So, you have learned the following. This is pretty much like if you've researched these guys for a while. You know that Rakshasas originate from the Nine Hells. They are powerful devils. When powerful devils create a dark ritual to free their essence from fiendish bodies in order to escape the lower planes. They eat human flesh. They have an appetite for it, and they scheme evil schemes, of course. They select their prey with care, taking pains to keep its presence in the world a secret. So if there is actually a Rakshasa in the material plane, they try to make sure that nobody knows what their true nature is. A death for a Rakshasa on the material plane means an agonizing and torturous return to the Nine Hells, where its essence has to remain trapped until the body reforms. This can take any period from months to years, depending on the power of the Rakshasa itself. If a Rakshasa is slew, it has all the memories of its former life, and it will seek retribution against the one who has slain it. Even going after family members, going after friends or descendants, depending on how long it takes for the body to reform. If a Rakshasa is killed in the Nine Hells, then he is permanently killed forever. You know that Rakshasas are immune to magic of low casting. They also can cast magic themselves. These beings tend to be very charismatic, very well-spoken, very silver-tongued. Pretty much can almost talk their way into or out of anything. If you're dealing with a Rakshasa, you have to be very, very careful about how you word the things that you want done. Even being in a Rakshasa contract with the Rakshasa is very, very, very dangerous in itself because of how well spoken, how a Rakshasa could represent the deal with the one intended. That's the general gist of what you have. I will PM later toward you and Forgrin what more detailed things that you probably have made interest about while you were reading, because you have very various information about caste society of these beings, as well as infernal beings that would work under Rakshasa themselves.
Okay. Yeah, I start to say to Hwinnil most of what you said, emphasizing that they're from the Nine Hells, and that they keep their form a secret, and so there may be several Rakshasas that live amongst us that we might not even realize are there, which is definitely not a very good thought. And to actually destroy a Rakshasa, even if you kill it here in the material plane, it reverts back to the Nine Hells and can reform and seek vengeance on those who exiled it back to the Nine Hells. So the only way to truly destroy a Rakshasa without being stuck with retribution in the future is to actually follow it to the Nine Hells and destroy it there, which is also
Can't
quite
say
a
more.
strange thought. And
I
they're
actually heard that as
magical.
well.
Excellent. Yeah, they're very magical beings as well. So I'm not even sure if I could even hurt any of them with even the powerful magics that I've learned over the years.
Most things bleed, though. I'm sure they do as well.
Ah,
We shall see.
well, with that,
about
you
you?
also know that over the years, when adventurers or other peoples would try to slay Rakshasas, it seems that um, magic weapons wielded by good creatures actually work very well against these beings. Non-magical weapons, not so much. There isn't any common material that really hurts them, but you have the feeling that anything magically enchanted wielded by a good person probably will do a significant amount of damage. Non-magical weapons, you're probably in for a really bad time.
I see. Yes, I'll say that same kind of thing. Just to, if you're truly good at heart, then a magically imbued weapon could inflict the pain that we desire to inflict on these evil entities. That's what I know.
That sounds good, at least. We have
Very
magical weapons.
Yeah, very nice to know that, and very nice reading before one tries to go to sleep with nightmares.
Yeah, besides reading about Rakshasas, the books that were made, um, given to you, they cover Rakshasas, but they also cover like a lot about like devils and other infernal beings and the tortures they inflict on people. I mean, you've tried to skip that part, but it's not great
Yes.
reading.
Yeah, this is the part of the world that I don't want to know as much about.
Yes, exactly. Earendil, as you're walking up, there is the Meridino comes up after coming back from the kitchen, and he has a sandwich and a glass of water, and he's walking back towards the front of the house, and he notices you coming up the path, and he waves with his sandwich. And it's like, Master Sarah Erenthil, it's really nice. It's nice to see you. Do you need any help getting to your room while I'm down here, or are you okay? Your animals have been stabled for the night, by the way.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I had a little trouble, but your druid friend helped me out a lot. I was afraid maybe my hand would have been bitten, but I still have all my digits. You see the tops of a couple of the tips of his fingers are gone though. Those are from an old accident, though. Ignore those stumps. Um, do you need any help getting to your room? Do you want to try to find your friends?
Yes, I'd like to join my party.
Well, Sarah, Kasov, Florgorin, and Hwinnil. I believe they are in the study area, one of the study areas. I could show you where that is. Like I said, your animals are in the back. Sarah Ramas hasn't returned yet. I think he's still in town, and Sarah Akros is in his room. I heard an explosion earlier, and I went to check on him, but he was fine. He just asked me to get him a bucket of water and a cloth.
That's usually all it takes.
Well, he said he needed to clean up the area, which looked a little soot-ridden, if you catch my drift. He wasn't missing any body parts though. That's
Oh,
good
that's
news.
great.
Yes. But if you would step this way, please. And he,
I follow.
Yep. So Your friend should be, I believe, in that room over there. He points to a door, and you can already hear like voices talking from behind that particular door. If you need anything, just call my name. I'm usually very close by. Master Ixen is currently in the arcane laboratory, and Mistress Asha, um, she came while you were away. She is a friend of Master Ixen's. Is in one of the other study rooms meditating currently.
Okay.
But I will leave you to your business. Have a wonderful night, and let me know if you need anything at all. And
I will.
okay,
Have a good night.
he bows a little and starts um, walking to the one of the sitting rooms.
Okay.
Did you want to knock on the door, or
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
at the door, or?
No, I'll knock on the door. I say, guys.
You guys hear a muffled voice, Hwinnil, guys, from behind your door.
I go to open it.
Okay, you open it. There's Earendil.
Oh,
Hi.
welcome in.
Hello.
We are just discussing the Kasha.
Oh, great. What have you found?
I tell the information Cassie
Okay,
just
okay,
told
okay.
me.
No need for it.
Yeah. So, what's the plan? What should we do now? Should we go up to the mountain first, or like tomorrow morning?
I think it depends. What do we know about? Oh, I want to know. I want to roll something to know if the animals and the monsters that the brewer told us about are day type of animal or the night type of animal, because I don't know what to say.
Okay. What's your favorite terrain? It's
Forest, I believe.
Just forest?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is mountain, so you wouldn't get an advantage on this. So let's start with a nature check from you.
Can I help him?
Yes, you can help him. If you want, you could. If you're assisting him, if one of you wants to roll, I will give you advantage to do so.
Then I'll assist. I'll pose this as a question to Hwinnil, and Hwinnil, sorry, and I'll assist him instead of him assisting me.
Okay, that's perfectly fine if you agree with that.
Her,
Okay.
assist her. Sorry.
Her.
Okay. Sure. In a nature check. all
Okay,
right?
so the monsters he had mentioned were yetis, harpies, hippogriffs in particular. Which would you like to try to figure? Oh shit. Which one?
Everything.
Well, I remember this mountain.
This mountain, I came across this mountain many years ago. Okay, so let's start with yetis, since that's the page I turned to. You know that yetis, not abominable yetis, no, regular yetis, are considered large monstrosities, but you have heard of them. They have a very good sense of smell. They camouflage very well in snow because of their white coats. And you know that they can attack with kind of a when the nature of their attack leaves frostbitten flesh, indicating maybe some type of code that is associated with this creature. As with nocturnal, whether yetis are nocturnal or diurnal, you let's see. I gotta look at one thing. Okay. You know yetis are nocturnal for the most part. During the season of breeding, they might come out in day as well. You know they're nocturnal mostly because they see very well in the dark.
Alright.
Yes, they're very well. They can see very well. And they hunt
Do-
by smell mostly, though.
But do they avoid fire or do they approach fire?
They have certain disdain towards fire.
So campfire would probably keep them away,
Possibly.
unless they're really hungry.
Unless they're really hungry, unless there's more than one of them. Sometimes they will attack in pairs. You don't really see too many in one gathering. They usually hunt by themselves. And they typically hunt alone. But in times of desperation, they two will work together. All right, so let's go with harpies. Let's do one more. Yeah, let's do another check on that. So you're shifting from yetis to harpies.
Okay. Should I roll again?
Please roll again.
Okay. I don't know so much about
All
harpies.
right, you don't know that much about harpies, unfortunately. Let's see, where's that page on harpies as a hag? There we go. You know that they are mountain-dwelling creatures. You know they fly quite well, and you know that the most dangerous thing that you've ever heard about harpies is their song, and their song is legend. Often luring adventurers and wayward travelers into their service to then be devoured afterwards. Toyed with, then devoured. Um, you know that usually harpies won't attack unless they know they have the advantage. So if there was a strong looking party, they probably wouldn't mess with them unless they knew they had like something as simple as the terrain on their side, if they're attacking from high places, so to speak. But that's about what you know about harpies.
But I guess because I'm an elf, I don't think them as dangerous as maybe people would think, because of the resistance to charm that elves have.
No, they wouldn't be as dangerous to you, or to half elves. Those with low mental capabilities, like some of your party members, might be a little more susceptible to a harpy's song. Why don't you roll a religion check for me as well? This, especially you, because you're elf. Okay, you know a lot about this. There are stories that you've heard, probably from your teacher, probably growing up as a wood elf yourself. Harpies are monstrosities, that is true, but harpies are said to have been descendant of an elf. There was a elf who heard a song and was moved to tears, and it turned out to be a elven god named Fenmerel, a reclusive god. She sought to make this god take her as a lover. Unfortunately, when she was gifted with a song very similar to the elven gods. The elven god did not reciprocate the feelings, so therefore this elven woman cursed the gods, and she was turned into this monstrosity with wings and ugly claws and hands. So, and then all harpies are descendant of that one cursed elf. So they are elven in nature, or were elven in nature, but now they're just over years and years and years of being this entity. They are pretty much fucked, so to speak. But yes, that is what you know about harpy songs. You do know one last thing. If you are affected by a harpy song, after you are affected, you are immune to the song after 24 hours if you manage to shake yourself from it.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep, that's about what you guys know about Yetis and Harpies. You know a bunch about hippogriffs already. You've been hanging out with a couple for a while, so you know a lot about hippogriffs. They probably won't attack you on sites, especially if you're away from like their nest. If you're near their nest, they're gonna get territorial. But if you are like a strong, healthy pack, most likely they will not attack you.
If we meet hippogriff, it's just gonna end up with 3 more hippogriffs in the party or something.
Maybe.
Yes.
That's about it. You know that all of the dwarves especially know that giants are common in the mountain ranges. Hill giants more towards the southern part of Ironfast. Storm and stone giants, you're getting towards the northern part of Ironfast. But they have been seen from time to time in the mountain ranges of the country.
Okay.
Very good.
So,
Well,
should we go there?
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready if you guys are. What time of day is it?
Right now it is probably 7, 8 o'clock at night. You guys have been holed up a while.
I don't think we should go while it's still night.
Yeah, I imagine nighttime is a little more dangerous, so we could wait till morning.
Yeah, I think we wait till
Travel at
morning.
first light.
Yes, we can. Let's stay here for a night.
Okay.
Excellent.
There is another knock on the door.
Come in.
You see Meridino coming in. There's a couple crumbs in his beard from the sandwich he just ate. But he tries to smooth that away before before you guys open the door. But you guys open the door, so he's like, okay, sorry. Yes. Master Ixen has requested your presence. That's fine. Asha actually has traveled after her meditation. Had traveled to Wingfall and has the person in question. Well, she hasn't gone yet. She was waiting for all of you, but Asha's about to leave. I'm sorry. Sorry. All this magic stuff is so confusing to me. So Asha is about to leave for Wingfall to retrieve the person in question, as well as this piece of jewelry he mentioned. Was there any messages now that you are all here that you wanted to relay to the folks in Wingfall, or is she? Are there no messages that you need to relay?
Just remind me, in Wingfall, that's where we had this guild that was supposed to find the vampire den and the dragon den, right?
Tabby, yes. Tabby was the person that you had employed to seek caches towards. Well, you told him the location of the vampire cache, and there was a dragon cache as well. Possible dragon cache. Yes. That is the town.
Yeah, and I think we told she that was it Leo? I am so bad with name. Was it Leona? Is over there? No.
Leona's the country.
Yeah, Leona is the country. Okay. I try to look in the. But where they're going?
They are going to Wingfall, so that's where Lek was.
Lek. Okay, Lek. I mean, didn't you tell Lek that Tabby to contact Lek with all the information?
Yes. I do remember that you did tell Tabby to let Lek know with the info about all of that.
All right. Then I want to give a message to Lek to see how it's going with the business with Tabby.
Okay.
Otherwise, tell them that we are fine and that everything is working as we thought. We got our next recommendation.
Okay. Excellent. Was there anything else? Meridino looks towards the ranger, the 2 dwarves. I already spoke to Master Sarah Akros, and he said he wasn't. He didn't have any messages for anybody. though it was hard to understand him. I think his mouth was full of black powder for some reason. Um, Anybody else need any messages relayed?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I will let Mistress Asha know. And yes. Okay. Sorry. Terribly sorry to bother you. Um, and you see him rush down the hallway towards the this foyer area. All right.
Okay.
I think this is a good time to stop. There are a couple messages that I need to message to Florgorin and Kasov especially. And I need to work out how much money that you guys got from the caches. And I will have that information probably in the forum post a little later this weekend. See how much you guys pulled from that, if the mission was successful. And yeah, so for experience, I'm just looking to see where you guys are at currently. There was a lot of talking. You guys are that much. So you guys are mostly role playing and that kind of thing. So last time I gave you like a couple hundred, so let's go with for everybody that is here today. Let's go with 300 XP for everyone. And I'll have 200 for XP. That's gold pieces. Okay. Party. And then for those who weren't in attendance, 200 experience. Just for 300 just for the role playing experience for anybody who's not here today. So that would be Ramas and Akros. All right. So our next game is for the 27th of April. Of February.
Yes.
February. It's February. Why do I keep on thinking it's April?
Okay. April, all right. Okay.
And
Nice.
yeah. I will, if there are any other questions, PM me. Any concerns that you have. I will also give a couple more details about Rakshasas that Kasov and Florgorin knew of. And yeah, and Kasov, I need to PM you specifically for the decision you're making as well.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Just
Great.
let me know if you guys need anything or if you guys have any questions.
I have one question.
Yes.
Was ketchup or French fry the one who was misbehaving?
It was ketchup this time around.
Really?
Yeah. He went after Scuzzy, which is Brandon's older female cat. Cause I don't know why. He's weird. They're in the bedroom now, just lounging around. So.
Okay. Excellent.
Questions
Go
that
ahead.
need to be answered. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
What kind of potions can I do to prepare for this journey?
Okay. So you are level 4, so you're past level 3, so you could start making potions. For now, since you have a little while, and let's see, so 500 divided by, I can't do math in my head, so 500 divided by 20, not 500. What am I doing? Healing potion's it's only like 100. So it's a high magic world, so it'd probably be 50. So 2 days. So 2 days times 25. Because of the reduction, half a day. So since you've started, you could start your potion making. It will take, depending on resources, there is Ixen does have a decent stock of herbal, herbal plants and whatnot. You could start making common healing potions. I believe those are 2d4. Let me just look it up really quick. And you can make common potions pretty much to start off
Okay.
with. And those potions include, let me just get out the potion area of this thing. Common potions are, that's a pipe. Common potions are potions of climbing. And common potions of healing, 2d4 plus 2 if you are going to make those. And any other common potions. Those are the 2 common potions right off the bat available because you see those everywhere. They will take half a day to make each, and they will cost, I would say 40 gold per. In material components. So you just mark off 40 gold off of your party or of your gold sheet. And if you're
Does some
waiting,
potions of healing cost 50 gold to buy new price?
yes.
Okay.
So that cost, that base cost will go lower as you make more of them. This will be your first potion to make. So eventually that cost will probably get as low as 25 gold pieces per time you make these potions.
Okay.
You probably have to
That makes
make,
sense.
yeah, you probably have to make like maybe 3 3 to get it that low. You have to practice a little bit. Potions of climbing are the same deal. If you want to make those as well, those might be helpful actually for this excursion. I didn't know that potions of climbing were actually common based.
Cool.
But yeah, those are the 2 that you can make immediately, and Ixen will probably have some. In exchange for some gold, could give you, or if you go into town, back to the general store, you could probably find the materials you need to make those.
Okay.
Nice.
Now we're talking about money. Maybe I can give out 100 gold to each in the party, so that you have some, because you seem to need coin.
Yay!
So I ask.
Thank you.
So you can take 100 each, and I remove 300 here, and then I can do it when the rest is here as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and Florgorin, I knew I gave you some starting money to start out with. I gave you a lot of money to start out with because you don't have any magic items. So if there are any particular magic items that you need that you'd like on your person, just deduct that cost and talk to me, and I will tell you how much those items probably cost.
Is there a list where I can look for the prices? I mean, if I looked up in the player's handbook and in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but I didn't find any prices on the things.
So the way it works now in D&D is that each item has a common, uncommon, rare, or legendary. How often you would find these items. Attached to that, however, is the price range of said where is that thing? Said treasure item. So let me just quickly get out the rarities. I used to know them by heart, but I don't anymore. I know that magic item. Here we go. Magic item. So a common item, like a healing potion, a low-level healing potion, would be anywhere from 50 to 100. Uncommon, like a +1 weapon, would be anywhere from 100 to 500. 500 probably being like the selling price, 100 probably being like the crafting price. Rares are anywhere from 500 to 5,000. I know this book is weird. And yeah, and very rare and legendary, we're not even going to talk about that because there is no way in hell. There is no way in hell right now. But anything from common to rare, it would be anywhere from 50 to 5,000, depending on the item. I could determine that for you, because we are in a high magic society. You're looking at the lower end for most of these items, especially if you if you thanks for typing that, Kasov. Especially
Indeed,
if,
thank you.
yeah, especially if you bought them from like a capital city, which probably have everything you need. If you like bought them from Nortec, then you're looking at the lower end of a lot of these items that you'd like to get.
Okay.
So just let me know in a message of what you'd possibly like to get, and I will PM you back with each of the cost of how much each item would be worth, and then you can pick and choose what you like from that list.
Oakley dokley.
I'll be leaving now. Thanks for again, everyone.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
See you.
Have a nice
See ya.
2 weeks.
Yep.